three myths that people have, that a lot of us have had as well, about monetizing your social media and why they're so wrong, and you need to absolutely throw them in the trash right now. My name is Marae, and I am a social media marketer and content creator for a few years already. I usually found at Brave Family Travel, where I talk about all things family travel, and also at the academy that I co-founded with my friend who's here, Paula, the Travel Family Academy, where we help parents learn how to fly with kids without the overwhelm and the stress that usually comes accompanied by that, and also make the money so they can travel more. And we're
Yes.
here today with our friend Anastasia. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yay! So I'm so excited to be here and talking to co-travel moms. See, I'm already like getting all the words
Where
mixed
our
up.
minds are. Yeah.
It's like,
what
it's like,
what
who
we
am
really
I
want to be doing.
again? Exactly. Who am I again? What am I doing? Yeah. Okay. So I'm Anastasia. I'm co-founder of Generation Nomads, and at Generation Nomads, we're basically helping professionals to leverage their skills to start a remote online business. So I love all things travel. I'm also a travel mom, and we want to see more travel moms travel, right? So that's what we basically do. Not focus only on travel moms, but just freedom seekers who want to take another path and start their freedom-based business. And that's what we do at Freedom Business Mentorship.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so I am Paula. As Mary said, I am a co-business partner. That was a weird way of saying it, but okay, we'll go along with it. So yeah, we founded Travel Family Academy, and I also ran Dream Voyager Mum, which is my personal account, and I do more relatable motherhood content there and more funny content rather than more less travel, basically. Um, and yeah, and we co-founded Travel Family Academy, and now we're here to bust some myths.
Yes. So basically, all of us are in the business of helping moms. I think not just moms, obviously, everybody, we welcome everybody into our business as well. But I think it's important for moms because I feel like there's this like huge gap in the conversation, the motherhood, the womanhood world, where you get pregnant, have a baby, and your entire world shifts entirely in its axis, and you just don't know what to do. And nobody talks about like what happens next. So you're expected to either go back to work or just want to stay home and make bread all day, or figure it out slowly. But nobody talks about this beautiful opportunity to recreate yourself and find everything else there is to do or that you can do. And I think we're in a really pivotal point in history in which the world is so different. Like, you don't have to stay home and work 40 hours or go somewhere and work 40 hours. You can actually develop a freedom business online,
Yeah,
and actually have your cake and eat it too. You can be a full-time mom and also a full-time business owner without having to compromise on one or the other. But I think what's really scary is that there are a lot of obviously there's always crappy people doing things, and right now there are a lot of these misconceptions online that are making these myths even bigger, because there are people going around saying that you can become rich from just doing 2 hours of work every day,
Mm.
and just being a full-time mom, or like, oh, you post online for a week and now you're making thousands of dollars of sales. And so people go out and they try to do these things and they fail because that's not the truth. And then these myths get bigger and bigger. So we're here as business owners, as mothers, as travelers, as freedom seekers, right? To talk and debunk a lot of this, because it's just not fair for anybody who's starting out. And so the first thing we want to talk about is how incredibly untrue it is that you need a massive following to make money online. And I'm going to let you take the lead, Anastasia, because I think you're the perfect example to talk about this.
Yes. So, first of all, thanks for the intro. I couldn't agree more because day to day, I think we're talking to people that kind of look up to people that live this travel inspired lifestyle and this freedom based lifestyle. And they're thinking, okay, there is such a huge gap between where they are right now and where they want to go. And they see people doing all those amazing things, and they wish that it was them, but they don't see how to get there. And I think one of the things is, as you just said, is thinking, okay, I need to be somebody online already before I can actually make money and before I can ask people for money for my services or for anything that I have to offer, right? And this is just simply not true. So basically saying, okay, you need to have X followers in order to make X money, right? And I think one of the things that we see is that there are, both kind of examples out there. There are so many people that are follower rich, but dollars broke. And there are people that are, don't have many followers and are making good money. right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think from the moment that we started making money with our social media account, we had probably like just over 1,000 followers. So it's like really show, and probably we could have started earlier, but we were just not really confident enough to get going.
Right.
And I think that's what it's all about. So kind of how do you get the confidence to get started regardless of
Right.
your follower count, right? And I think that that confidence is coming with clarity of, okay, what is it that you want to use your account for? Like, how are you going to monetize the followers that you do have, whether it is 50,000 or 5,000 or 500, right? It's like not, first of all, not about the number, but about the quality and kind of having the right followers, right? And what is right? It's people that you can directly speak to and relate to and that you can create value for. So I think that's kind of right, all about the value of what is it that you are offering to who? So who is it that you're serving? And that's kind of your audience, and that's the followers that you want to attract and speak to and activate and eventually then acquire in terms of converting them into paid clients. But that's really what it comes down to. It's not like really about the follower count, but more what do you do with any follower that you get.
Right.
Because so
often, what's the end result? What's the end game here?
Right, because so often people, like even when I connect in messages to, and they say, hey, I would love to do something online, I would love to start my business, but right now I'm like, then I'm asking, so what's your next goal, like what's your next step, what are you working on right now? And then they say, well, I want to get to 10,000 followers first, or I want to get to, I don't know, 60,000 followers. And then I'm asking, okay, so let's assume you have them. Like, right, what do you do next?
Right.
Because
it's like it's a mental ceiling. It's sort of like, once I get 10,000, it validates that I know what I'm doing, that I can.
Yeah, exactly. I have felt like that. Like I felt like if I didn't have those followers, I was not worthy of anything. It's like it's like a worth thing. It's like, okay, when I get to the 10K, then I will do the thing. Then I will. And it's like, what am I gonna do anyway?
Yeah, it's like kind of,
and
to prove,
talking about like followers and reach and stuff like that. Like, Paula's a great example, because we started about the same time and we had both travel related accounts, but she wasn't feeling so passionate about sharing travel stuff, right? But she kept going because it was like, it's what everybody else is, and it's what I have to do, and it's and then like talk about your new account. She just started a new account.
I started the new account and just doing what I actually am passionate about. I have grown more than I have ever grown the other one for 2 years, and I've only been using for like 5 months now. So and I've actually monetized it as well, which I have never been able to do with my previous account. I did get my first collaboration with the other account when I only had 1K followers, so it was like pretty small at the time. But I never managed to actually get money out of it. So this account I did with way less followers and, way less in way less time as well, which was quite impressive. So,
actually, in 2021, I did this exactly to prove this point. This is in 2021, not even now, because I was at the time coaching a lot of people that wanted to break into the whole family travel industry. And so I was like, I felt a little hypocritical teaching some people how to grow on Instagram when I had already an account. I have another account with like 21,000 followers. And so, I had been doing partnerships with hotels and tourism boards for a while, but it was like, like I started that account in like 2018, 2019. So it was technically easier, or whatever they say, right? So I started a new account in 2021, and when I had like 1,200 followers, I had my first big partnership, and then so on and so forth. And I've grown that account tremendously, way faster than the previous one. But you mentioned something that was the key to me growing that account. With my previous account, I was sort of like all over the place, trying to reach a number, trying to become follower rich. With this new account, I was very specific about who I was serving, who I was speaking to, who I wanted to connect with. Like, my goal from the beginning was to create a community of traveling parents, of people that really want to just connect over our passion of traveling with kids. And I got super laser focused. And within a year, I had grown that account to almost double the size of my 20,000 account, right? With 1 year. And so I think that a lot of people just look at the follower count and they just think, oh, but it's like, if you have all those people and they're not relating to you because you bought an account, let's say a 20,000 follower account about cars, you raised the pictures and started posting baby photos, those 20,000 car enthusiasts are not going to buy your baby hats. you know? And
Yeah.
that's what I think people don't realize is like the more specific you get about what you're doing and who you're speaking to, right? And this brings us to our second point, which is people think you need to be an expert, like
An
you have to
expert,
have it
yeah.
figured out. And you know, and Paula, again, it's a perfect example. It's like, oh, you need to,
Yeah,
you have to know it all. But Paula started sharing her jokes when nobody was watching, and now she has what, 10, 50 million views every month.
well, right now it's less. Okay, it's only
Oh,
1 million, but still.
Only 1 million. Oh my God.
but like, you know,
But no, but it's
if
true.
you
It's
had
true.
15 million people looking at anything you do, think about when we were in school. Think about standing in front of your 20 people
Yeah,
classroom
it's
and
still
presenting,
crazy. It's still crazy.
right?
Yes.
Right? Like
Mhm.
there's 15 million households laughing at your mom jokes. Like if that's
Yes.
not influence, I don't know what is. But
Yeah.
it's so crazy because we think you have to already have the deals, you have to be working with MTV, whatever, and be booked on things and post your stuff online to be able to make it. But when you get to that level, which you inevitably will get to, then you have all these months of silly ass jokes in your living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Exactly.
think most of us want to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I so amazing. Paula, do you want to did you want to say something about it?
No, no. Oh no, I just don't want to say anything. I don't have
She
anything to say.
downplays herself. She downplays herself a lot. She's
No,
funny as
well, what I
hell.
wanted to say on the expert was like we also created, a course, and we created a business on traveling. And I have traveled with my son, but I haven't traveled, the world, and I haven't traveled as much, but we still did it. I was not the expert on everything, but we still
Mm,
did it. We still put ourselves out there, and we still, shared our view. And
mm.
that's all I wanted to add to,
But it's
you
like
don't
And we
have
also,
to be an
became,
expert.
yeah,
but we
And
became
we
the
became
experts
yeah,
by
exactly.
actually researching and trying out all the things. Like that's another
Yeah.
thing that people don't realize.
yeah,
It's your journey to becoming that. It's what actually has the meat in it.
Yeah, because you're
absolutely.
sharing exactly your experience. You're trying, and it's the
Yeah.
best way to learn and to teach.
Yeah, I think indeed you're becoming it in the process, but I think also kind of a way to feel a little bit better about like if I mean, I think it's natural that we want to be good at what we do, right? And that we feel like, okay, I kind of feel like
Yeah,
I need to have a little bit of the self-validation, feeling like I am somebody, like I can confidently position myself in a certain space because a lot of imposter syndrome is otherwise coming, right? Upon us.
Hmm.
So we're like, okay, how can I talk about this if I don't really feel like an expert? If I'm just starting, etc. And then what I always like, so how I like to see it is like really expert, like being an expert is quite subjective, right? If you're kind of looking at, okay, like just take a math example, right? You have like a professor at math, and he knows like, or she knows all kinds of things about, algebra and I don't know what, but and then you have a student that is, needs like tutoring, and you have just somebody that is 2 years ahead of them. They can already help them so much, and they don't need to be that, academic professor
yeah,
to actually help them to take the next step. So it's more like to the way to see yourself as an expert is not just thinking you have to be the best in a space, but more who is kind of an audience that you can relate to, that can relate to you, and that you can share something to, that you can give some tips, right? Like Paula, you were saying, okay, I don't feel like I traveled the whole world, with my son, but you did travel probably more than some others. So those
yeah,
others, they would be like super keen on learning like tips, right, of how they can travel because they have no clue. So
yeah,
expertise, I think, is like really subjective and depends on who you're talking to. And that's why I think it's so important, bringing us back to Mary's, your points like earlier, that you just have to define the right group of people that you can add value to, right? And like really having the
Yeah.
people that are
yeah,
interested.
Yeah.
Mm.
I always tell my clients, you have to be really like the two things you need to know is what it is that you're passionate about sharing and who you're speaking to. And the
Mm.
easiest way to find who you're speaking to is find you in your area of struggle and therefore success a
Yeah.
year ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago. Like you do
yeah.
not need like I've coached last year I had a fantastic student. You know, when you have a student that like actually follows everything you say and it actually like blows up and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I do know what I'm saying. Oh my God, I had a student like
She
that and she
validates my
like,
point.
Yeah.
yeah, she's the one. She's proof that I know what I'm saying. But I had this great student and I coached her for 3 months. And when she had 300 and something followers. She landed her first paid partnership. By the time she had 1,000 followers, she was locking in a 4-digit partnership. And she's now at over 20,000 followers. And she's just, all she did was literally followed everything I said to the T, but she got super specific from the beginning. I remember how long it took her to start because she couldn't get past it. And I was like, it's okay. It takes you a long time. Figure it out. What is it that you're really good at and that you a year ago could have used, that you would have liked? You know, and she developed her brand and now she's doing fantastic. And, you know, and she's not alone. She's not isolated, you know. But another thing that I think helped her out, and I think a lot of us are so petrified by it, is this thought that if you're online, you have to spend 24 hours a day, that your life has to become this, that you are not an influencer, that you must walk around with a camera and a selfie stick, that your children's face needs to be all over the internet. You know what I mean? Like this crazy, like your life is now online and now you're a bot, you know? And this mom is a perfect example. She is a high up professional with several degrees, 40-hour a week job, 3 kids. And she's married, you know, and she travels like every week. I honestly do not know how she does it. But she will wake up at 5 and work from 5 to 5:30, and then in the evenings for another like hour. So this person built her entire side business that she doesn't even need because she has a fulfilling career. She's not planning on leaving, on an hour and a half a day. And I check often because I'm always like, you know, my mom guilt is massive. And I'm always worried that I'm too much on my phone because it's my job. And I never spend more than 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's my longest time on Instagram on any given day. 2 hours and 50 minutes. And I run at least 3 or 4 accounts at a time because we also have clients. So you do not need to be online all day, and you do not need to showcase your entire life. You do not need to show when you go to the bathroom. You do not need to show yourself naked. You do not need to show your family's life, your married life, your bedroom, whatever you don't want to show. You don't have to show. I know people that have made a living from literally showing like items in their kitchen, not even their face.
I know people that literally on their stories, for instance, they never show up. And the only thing they share other people's posts. They share like literally like jokes and things like that. They don't show up, and and they have the followers, they have the money, you know. So
and again, I think that those people then indeed, and also as Mary said, they have the clarity, right? They know why they need to, like what they need to show up for and what they need to do in the time that they are online to be productive. And I think like the myth, you know, that we're busting right now is this, that you have to be 24/7 online. It just comes also from a point of not knowing what to do, right? And then you feel like, okay, so I want to do this online thing, so it means that I have to be online. I have to show my face every single day, and I have to say what I had for breakfast and then what I did after that, and then, right? And then, you know, showing your breakfast bowl and then your coffee after, and then where you traveled to, and, you know, all these things. And it's just more coming from a point, I think, of just not being sure what content is. Like, we need to create content, but what content is it that we actually have to create? And that's like where we have to get really clear and specific and understand what actually the point is of the content that we want to create, right?
You don't have that goal. We go back to not having a strategy. Yes, we go back to not knowing. If you're not clear on what you want to do with that account, like you want an account for what reason? I've known people like that too. Like, oh, you know, I just don't have enough followers. And my question is always, enough followers for what?
For
because
what?
if you have, if you're coaching at $1,000 a month and you have 20 people, you are golden. You do not need more than 20 people, right? So it doesn't matter if you have 100 followers. And I think this is where people fail so much, because we're always like, and again, it comes from this misconception and lack of conversation on the topic. And this is why we're so passionate about it. Like Paula and I always talk about this. It's like, we want to make it so easy because we're not special. Like, I would love to sit here and be like, we were just talented and amazing. You know,
it fell on my lap.
You know, I got lucky. You know, I talked to somebody who actually said that once. They were like, yeah, my first business went really great, but it had just gone bust. And I was like, well, that's probably why, because there's usually some struggle that comes from, there's a learning curve that comes, right? And if you're not willing to take the lessons from it, you're eventually going to fall and stumble and come back up again. Paula and I, we usually alternate 1 week or 1 day. I'm in the floor, like, nothing's working out. And she's like, no, we're doing great. And then the next week is, you know, the other way around.
We're each other.
That's why it's
with cushions.
This is why it's so good to have friends, you know, like mom friends that are in the trenches of motherhood, business friends, you know, because it brings perspective and reality. And we're always so adamant about keeping it real. Like, yes, we have beautiful, like, drone footage and hotel footage and all that stuff, but you do not need that to partner with hotels. You do not need that to grow a following on traveling, for example. You do not need any of that to monetize. You know, you don't need to be outside of your home. You don't like, it's literally all about sharing you, because whoever you are with whatever uniqueness that comes unique to you is what's going to attract somebody else that is exactly in the same position. I mean, look at Elise Mayer. I don't know if you guys know her online, but she literally became huge from sharing her own anxious self and her own daily struggles, you know, and it's so refreshing to see online because she is just being human, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's so relatable.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing, especially with building a personal brand, because that's what we're doing, right? We're not like another Coca-Cola or, you know, somebody basically, you know, just a big brand that, but we're like a human personal brand. So you are in one way, you are the product, kind of. I mean, yeah, you're offering something, but essentially it all comes down to you, because without you as that person behind it, you know, anything else in the business falls, because it's all built on you, right? So the best thing you can do actually for your business is being you, right? And being authentically you. And that, I think, is also what I love what you said. It's just, you know, being authentically you and with all of your flaws and whatever, that's what makes you relatable, right? And that's what is something that will make somebody say, I want to work exactly with her because I see myself in her, right? And I can see that, you know, she was where I am right now, and I can, with her help, get to where she is right now. And if you have somebody who's picture perfect and an expert all the time, and, you know, has the things that fall into the lap, you know, seemingly, you know, if they portray things like this, then there is also no relatability, right? And when there is no relatability, there is no connection. And when there is no connection, there is no sales anyway. So
that is very true. That is very true.
It's also why it's not good to skip the part where you show the process before you actually become the expert. Because by showing the messy, you're showing that you're learning. Like, oh my God, I stumbled and I fell, but I made it. Oh, look, I stumbled and I fell, but I got up again. Oh, look, but I'm here, but I'm still here and I'm still showing up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And this is actually one of our biggest points when we, like, with our flying topic, you know, like, we show moms like all of our mistakes. Like, I remember I uploaded a reel once showing how to install a car seat wrong. I was like, this is me installing a car seat wrong because I listened to somebody else instead of following the advice that I should have followed, which was read the manual. You know, and I literally posted it like that so people could see, because a lot of moms, you know, they look at us doing all these things online and they think, oh, they're experts. They're, you know, they get on a plane and they know exactly how to like fly the whole thing. And it's like, no, we still make mistakes. Like, I still have car rides where my child screams.
The reason we share this is because we suffered.
Yeah, exactly.
We want you to have a better experience than we did. Girl.
And the suffering.
And the suffering. Oh. No, but that's what it is. That's really what it is. And I think just kind of reminding yourself of this also when you're starting. And I hope, you know, when people are watching this, that they will be thinking, okay, you know what, I'm maybe in a messy spot where nothing is perfect, but that's actually where my value is, right? And that's kind of by going through it, I'm getting the experience that I need to be able to teach somebody how to do it right.
Yes, I have two cheesy quotes. The gold is in the messy, and the only way out is through. And these are some of the words that I tell myself almost daily, because let me tell you, motherhood is not easy. For some people, it seems to be online. I don't know. Some of the Pinterest people I follow, my God, their life must be perfect. But it's not my story. It is not my story. Motherhood is a challenge for me. I love being a mother, but my God, there's not a day where I'm just not like, I must be the stupidest person on earth. and then I tell Paula, and she's like, oh no, watch what I did, it was worse. Or like, oh my God, I did the same thing. And I'm like, oh, thank God, okay, that was me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We keep each other grounded.
Yeah,
definitely. But I think business is the same, and I think that's why there's so much value in this whole economy of coaching that has happened in the past 10 years and keeps on growing. And I think there's a lot of camaraderie in motherhood, and I'm so excited seeing how many of us are jumping out there and stepping out of our comfort zones and opening new doors for moms,
Mm.
specifically for moms, because again, I think this is a very challenging time of life, and if somebody can help, then hooray, you know. But I think coaching is underrated, because once you can be held by the hand by someone who's been there, whether it was a year ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago, and actually knows the blueprint to skip the suffering. I mean, dude, if you can stop the suffering, why wouldn't you? You know?
And I think at the same time, totally. And I think though at the same time, I think it's a confirmation. The fact that coaching is so big right now, and that it's, you know, such a fast growing industry, and that people are really, so many are jumping into the coaching industry and like knowledge industry in general. I think it shows that people want to learn from non-experts, you know, from not only based on theory and academic
Right.
work and like all this stuff, but really based on experience. And even, you know, like when somebody is struggling with something, going through something really difficult, they are not necessarily only looking for the professional opinion, like, you know, therapy and these kind of things, but just somebody that can relate to exactly their point, that have, and they can relate to it, not because they know, you know, theoretically something, or because they worked with people and they learned from them, but because they have walked the path and they can really feel the feelings, and they know the fears, and they understand the, you know, triumphs that come with it, and they can just be relating to you and understanding what you're going through. And I think this is just a confirmation that people are looking into learning from you and from people that are not perfect, but that are just able to help them to go to a specific point just because they have walked through it. So yeah, I totally love what you said with, it's about the journey and kind of going through it, and through that also becoming that expert and becoming that relatable expert.
Right. Yeah, like I don't want to learn, you know, like how to create content from somebody that has a $3 million monthly budget. You know what I mean? I don't want to learn how to do marketing from somebody who has no kids and can do it, because I know you can do it. You have, you know, I want to learn from somebody that has an hour and a half like I do, and, you know, 30 minutes in the morning praying the kid doesn't wake up, and then an hour at night having sleep, you know, like if you can make it, I can make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think again, you know, like just showing that reality of things, that is the meat right there, because somebody else is going to look at you and say, okay, me too. Okay. Well, if she has the circumstances and she can do it, you know, okay, I can do it, you know. But you look at like Britney Spears, and you're like, well, of course you can do a photo shoot like that in your room with a crib and the baby diapers and stuff. It's like, oh, well, I'm not a millionaire, you know what I mean? So then it looks so impossible when you look at some of these creators, which, no shade on any of those, of course, like, you know, everybody has their stage. Like once you move on to the next tier, then you look for somebody who's above, and you continue breaking your own ceiling and moving forward. And that's what it's all about. It's about empowering one another to move forward, because there is enough for everyone. And if you want a lifestyle that is more than diapers and houses and cleaning and job and 9 to 5, if you want a life of travel, if you want more time spent with your family,
and if you want to create content,
finding a way to monetize social media is the future. People think that it's already too late, but I think it's the beginning. This industry is going nowhere. And everybody has the potential, like literally, like, have you seen the Ratatouille? Like anyone can cook. I'm like that with social media. I'm like, anybody can monetize social media. Anybody can make money online. You do not need to go work for somebody 80
like,
hours a week.
what is she on about? I just realized talking about the rat from
the rat. I was just also trying to connect I was trying to connect the dots, because I was like, I see this mouse in front of me, and now what? Like, I wasn't thinking stuff. You were thinking too quick.
Anyone can cook. You know, anyone can cook.
Anyone can cook.
This is how you know I'm a mom, guys, a toddler mom. It's all movie references.
Yeah, didn't get to that stage yet. We're still in like the boo boo and baba, and you know.
It's
embrace it, girl. Embrace the peace.
Embrace
it. I remember, look, Alaska didn't crawl until she was like 9 months, and you know how kids start crawling like 6 months, 7 months, and I was like, she's not crawling, oh my god. And I had a friend who was like, you listen to me, you enjoy that, you sit on your couch and you enjoy, and you have a drink, and you pray that it takes 5 more months, because once they start walking, it is the end. And I was like, oh damn, I was like, that's dramatic, but my god, it is the end.
It took us half an hour to walk home, from daycare, which is like a 2 to 3 minutes walk. And because girl wants to walk on her own.
Of course, of course,
She
of course.
wants to walk up all the stairs past the house.
Oh man.
Past the house, so that she get, like, we live in an apartment building right now, so past our house, our door, so that you can walk all the way up, so that you can go all the way down and all the way up, and yeah, that's how it goes. But now she's in bed and I'm happy.
Yeah. Meals where you're sitting down or everybody's sitting down is not a thing. Like, you will not sit at a table and have a meal with your partner unless the child is asleep or somebody else is running after them.
Exactly.
Anyway, I hope those of you listening found value in this chat. We hope to do a lot more of this, and both of our accounts, the Travel Family Academy and the, what is your
Generation Nomads?
Generation, I always think Generations Nomads.
That's
why I'm like, I don't want just Generation Nomads.
Yeah, because we're the generation of nomads.
Yes, we are. I love it.
Yes, thank you so much. I loved talking to you, and I feel like, you know, we had a couple of those drop the mic moments, you know, after after you brought your quotes. I was like, oh, you know.
But it was a Ratatouille reference. It was a Ratatouille reference for me personally, you know.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
That's what I want to be remembered by.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Okay.
Anyway, ladies, it was nice chatting with you. We will see you soon. Chat soon.
Bye.